Good evening, St. Louis, and welcome into Energizer Park and the City Hub postgame here on Sports Hub STL, presented by Hot Shots, home of STL sports fans since 1990. All the games, all the time, and of course, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. St. Louis City wastes a 2-0 first half lead, and they draw with Sporting Kansas City 2-2, and St. Louis is not happy about this one. Neither are the fans, neither are the players. We all know that doesn't really matter. So right now off the get, Will Bratton, your thoughts right off the top about City losing that lead and pulling only 1 point after winning 2-0 in halftime.
I mean, it's a tough one. You cannot give up that lead, first of all. Both of the goals were very preventable. Roman Berkey was frustratedly talking about that in his post-match interview. He was not happy with the way that went. Celio Pompeo was very upset in his post-match interview. He was like borderline, like emotional, not like crying, but like, very, very passionate about what he was saying. And there's a lot of frustration going around the camp right now. So the number one thing to go with off the bat is it's just not good enough. That can't happen. You got to get those 3 points. That's a must-win match. And now we're at the point where serious questions have to be asked about the St. Louis City SC side, who are winless through 9. Now,
yes, 9 straight that they've dropped points.
Yeah,
not ideal.
I wonder how many of those from winning position.
From winning positions, not very often. From
maybe.
Yeah, if you break down the numbers of late positions, Matt Baker had a good tweet. I had a friend send me the numbers as well. Let me actually see if I can grab those right now. If you go back to the LAFC, Hebert, Watts, and Yara have been on the field for all 10 goals against. 8 of those 10 have come after 70. So I'm not sure a lot of those have come from winning positions. Obviously, the 2 against LAFC and now the 2 against KC. So 4 of the 8 that have come after 70, I think, have come from winning positions. All in all, it's all bad. It's all bad. That's not good. This team was supposed to hang their hat on defense, and that was something that Roman Berkey talked about, how the defense was so stalwart the first 4 games, and it's kind of fallen apart. And, he talked about how maybe it's because we're pushing forward a little bit more. They need to find the balance, and that's essentially what we've been saying all year. And today was just another frustrating game because they didn't actually, outplay them. And to Olaf's point, I know a lot of people are mad that the standard line has become, we outplayed them for 60 minutes, but we lost anyhow. Olaf was honest about the truth today, which was it wasn't a good first half. And they got extremely lucky on a 3% chance and a 13% chance shot. That was barely even an attempted shot from Cedric Toysher for the second goal. They got extremely lucky, and they did not outplay Kansas City in the first half. Like, arguably they did, even more so than the game in Kansas City. And so, there's the short-term stuff was going to be nice. It was going to be nice to walk out of here with a 2-0 lead. But none of the leaks had been stopped tonight. And I think that's something we got to look at, is that even if this would have remained a 2-0 win, there were still some things there's still some cracks that are very apparent right now with the All for City play.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've seen with this back line tonight was the backdoor kind of issue. Obviously, Akil Watts fell victim to what I lovingly refer to as the back post bomber, which was an absolute plague last year.
You're talking about the first goal or second goal? Well, his first goal is, he loses the outside guy.
Fair.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily.
It wasn't like a service across back post bomber, but it was still the guy back there that you got to know he's there.
Shalawi is playing this left wing where he's pinching inside, kind of like a left-sided version of what we've seen from Cedric Toysher a lot this year from City. Shalawi's pinching inside. He pinches in hard. Watts takes one step with him. Labeled overlaps, and he's right there for the 1-2. Berkey said it. We can say it. It's pretty obvious when you watch the play. Inexcusable mistake for a professional player to make. Bottom line.
Exactly. And I think that type of situation is very telling for the impact that one Giannis Horn has on this team, because that's a mistake that he just doesn't make on the left-hand side. Obviously, this happened on the right-hand side, but in general, you get less of these really threatening opportunities when you have your best players available. Giannis Horn took Melberg let us know post-match that here's your favorite phrase, is that another player took a knock in training. And essentially what happened was Giannis went to cross a ball with his left foot. He felt something in his knee. It didn't really feel right, but it didn't hurt that bad. And then when he went home that evening, it started to get worse. And so he let Melberg know that he was going to be unavailable for this match. So he got an MRI today, and they're hoping that the results are going to be not bad. Melberg doesn't really think it's bad. The way he described it, I don't think it's bad, but I wasn't there, didn't see it. I don't feel it. I'm not
You
Giannis.
never know,
right?
Honestly.
And with the St. Louis City S team, we'll be honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we find out it's a broken tibia somehow.
I was going to say, why? How dare you have any positivity at this point? Because the MRI was done. They still don't know if it's good news or not. And so at this point, I think just assume it's going to be bad news.
Right.
Speaking of that overarching question in the chat right now, and again, thanks to everyone who's watching right now. Make sure you like and subscribe to Sports Hub STL right now on YouTube. That way you're going to get a ding, get a notification every time we go live, which is at effort. Every event, you can jump into the chat. You guys run this show if you want to. Thomas Welsh joining us on the chat right now. So all of our guys are just incapable of playing past 60 minutes, no fitness, and that is also one of the bigger topics that we have coming out of the postgame. Will ran down the Giannis Horn facts. Let's go to the 59th minute. City's up 2-0, and City goes with 2 subs. They go with 2 offensive subs, the only 2 really pure offensive subs they had, which was Jean De Silva and Simon Bescher. They put them in like for like in the striker spots for Cedric Teuscher and João Klaus. But the back line that we already pointed out that's played a lot of minutes, that has made mistakes, is still out there. And I asked Olaf Melberg, who did the post-game press conference, despite the fact that he did not coach the match, or apparently didn't coach the match, but apparently did coach the match because text messaging exists now, MLS. You guys became a league in like 93, and texting was a thing by 03. It's one thing when like Argentina, who established their league in like the 1840s, doesn't know how technology works. Building a league in 93 and then letting your coaches text while they're suspended seems a little flippin' odd. Anyhow, now what we're here to complain about. What was I complaining about anyway? Oh, yeah. Why do they not have those 2 center back subs go in the 59th, 60th minute when they do go in the 70th minute after the game's 2-1? I'm not sure. Olaf did not think that was a big factor in the game. That is not me. Am I wrong? That those are essentially. That's almost verbatim what he said. That he didn't think that the sub was a large factor in the outcome of the game.
He literally said, "My opinion was that was not that significant."
I personally think that when you have backups in the game and they've played a strong 60 minutes, we get into what a lot of people would call house money. And as I tweeted it out, you take your money and run. I said it to Tom Timmerman, it was like the 60th minute, and I'm like, you're sitting at the craps table and you just hit a hard 8. Get out of Dodge. What are you doing still sitting at the table putting your money, when the button's on a 9? Get out. The odds have flipped against you. You got 60 strong minutes from that back 3, make subs, put in Kess, put in Nielsen, and batten down the hatches a little bit. That it just seems odd to me. 1, that they didn't make that decision, and 2, that the coach doesn't think defensive subs would have helped there. And to his point, to Olaf's point, I will give him credit. He wanted Zonde and Klaus. He wanted Zonde and Bescher to go in for Seti and Klaus because they needed more effort up front. And listen, the idea of killing a game with offense that you're already leading is not foreign. It's not crazy.
Right.
John Hackworth, it's not even completely out of the idea of the St. Louis City system. John Hackworth last year talked a lot about how killing games in the second half didn't mean just winning with defense. It meant scoring that extra goal that puts the game away. And Celio Pompeu, to his point, was talking a lot about killing the game and was saying 3-0, 4-0, they're done. They quit. We win that game. And you don't have the finishing aspect. And so I understand the idea of pushing for the third goal to try to kill the game. But is this the team that should be having that aspect? Is this the strategy of killing games that St. Louis City SC should have with this group right now? I would just disagree with that decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have a roster with 7 center back capable players. And you're talking about, capable, not designated center back.
The position, yes.
Right. Center back capable players, you got 7. And when you're in a situation like that and your bench has 2 players that are attacking minded at all in any regard on the bench, that's your whole bench. Why are you trying to kill a game with offense in that situation? Now, I get it. If the roster was healthier, if Kessler and Nielsen were able to play 90 minutes magically, it'd probably never happen ever. But if that was the situation, then we might not be having this conversation. But when you have tired legs up front, you've got Pompeu, who's been out there the whole match. You've got Volum, Ustrak, who played 82, by the way. Shout out Ustrak. He was my man of the match. I thought he had a great match.
Hey, he's almost a full 90-minute player. That's good.
Maybe we'll see that once ever. And then he'll get a knock in training. We won't ever hear from him again. But, I mean, look, when you've got that type of roster and You've also got the injuries. You have your backline's not ideal. What the hell are you? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we trying to throw?
I think
Look, I love getting the third.
I think it's a bad decision.
I love the idea of getting the third goal.
Yeah,
I think going into low block defending would have been a bad decision, but you needed the fresh legs in the back line to recover for your front line, because they say defense starts with your strikers, right? And so when they're tired, you need that back line strong, because otherwise you will concede 2 goals and end up in a 2-2 draw with Sporting.
The problem is we acquiesce the point that this defending starts with their strikers, and so I guarantee you Olaf's going to go, well, my strikers were tired. I needed them. I needed fresh legs as my defenders. And again, my thing is not even arguing tiredness. But I honestly, I think you could. Yarrow and Baumgartel have played a lot of minutes. Yeah. Baumgartel isn't a spring chicken. He's been playing a lot of minutes. Hebert has, I think it's now either the second or third most minutes on the team behind Hartl and Vollum. I know it's center back minutes, but you can't tell me that those guys aren't huffing and puffing a little bit. We saw it against San Diego when they got beat late, and we saw it again tonight. And again, one thing is we can't criticize coaching staffs that we can't criticize the coaching staff and say, I want you to make a decision that the coaching staff would not have made. But in this situation, they made this decision. They just made it 10 minutes later after the game was 2-1 instead of 2-0. Yeah. And so that's why I think we are completely fair in line to criticize this decision, because clearly in their mind said it is part of the plan that we're going to put in Kessler to sub into the back three, and we're potentially going to put in one of the defenders, Zielinski or Reed, what have you. Why is that move not going when you're up 2-0 instead of after the goal happens and it feels like you're clamoring to try to make it happen, try to get those defenders on and save the game? Because that's what it felt like to me. After you let in the goal, then we got to go to our defenders. It felt a little bit like reacting and not being proactive, and that's something we've criticized other teams for in City, and it's something I'll criticize City for tonight. Yeah, I mean, look, when you sub your attacking players, you're chasing the match. And City were up 2-0 in this match. You're not chasing the match. You put in your fresh leg strikers and you say your tired defenders, hopefully they can just handle it, and our strikers the fresh leg guys can just go and tie this game up for us. City are ahead in this game. Let your tired strikers do what they need to do and see if they can get the third goal and put the nail in the coffin. But you got to get those fresh legs in the back. It's the most important thing. And the coaching staff completely agrees with what you just said, because they just told us in the post-match presser, and they showed us with their decisions on the pitch. It was just too late. It's too little too late. I mean, the subs were coming in before that second goal, to be fair. But it's got to be faster either way. I just thought of something, because we got a chat here from Chat City Tactics that I would a current fitness Olaf. Where'd it go? Sorry. I had it right here. Would a current fitness Olaf be a better center back than any all tonight starting 3? I don't have an answer for that, but I did just remember a tweet that I came across about Olaf that I now realize I have to play on this post game, because it's in light of all the questions about training injuries. This video is absolutely the funniest goddamn thing you're going to see tonight, and I think we all need the laugh. Darth Missouri says, get rid of everyone, including Berkey. Fire everyone. Tiger beat. How is this Berkey's fault? He's played 4 matches, 3 of which were shutouts. That seems like we're picking at a lot of people. That's a crazy stat. I actually didn't realize that. Well, you can keep a blank check. You can get a blank check. Keep Celio. Everyone else can go. Charlie Smith sitting on that damn lead, playing sloppy and lazy, so annoying. One thing I do want to point out, because we need to have both sides of this comment, because I'm already seeing some fans who are saying what City was doing after they took a 2-0 lead was parking the bus, and therefore that screwed them. I'm seeing other people who have our thought process, which is, why didn't you go maybe a little bit more defensive and smart with the ball? So did you see them parking the bus with the 2-0 lead before? Let's talk about pre 65th minute, before things started really turning towards Kansas City, before they scored that first goal. Did you see from 45 to 65 a parking the bus team? A parking the bus team, no. But what we did see was a team that switched from a 4-back in defense to a 5-back in defense, which limited their ability to get up the pitch. And that, slowed down the attacking opportunity. You're going to play more defense in that situation because you're not doing as much attacking. City had less of the ball. As a result, they were sitting in that lower block with the 5-back defense. And that's what I saw, but I did not see a team parking the bus. Obviously, they were looking to go forward, almost too often, resulting in a big gap in the midfield, because the midfielders were tired as hell and they couldn't keep up with the fresh leg strikers. So, I mean, everything just felt backwards with the subs. I really think the attacking subs is what threw this whole match off the rails. I'm just telling people, I'm searching for this really random video that I found on Twitter yesterday, and trust me, it is going to make everyone a little bit happier. Scott Parrott says, well, so much for the new coach bump. Let's talk a little bit about how this game was coached, because Olaf Melberg was suspended after 3 yellow cards, which is accumulation, says you're out. But we found it after the fact because Olaf did the press conference, and I was kind of confused. So I asked St. Louis City's leading press guy, who does an incredible job, always willing to have an answer if he's got it. And I said, okay, if he's doing the press conference, what exactly was he not allowed to do today? And the answer that we were given is that 90 minutes before the game, he had to be out of the stadium and could not have personal contact with his coaching staff. He also could not have personal contact with his coaching staff during halftime. The reason why I was making jokes earlier is because I then asked, okay, what about non-personal, like virtual contact? What if he was texting people? And apparently there is nothing against the rule for the coach essentially coaching the game from outside of the stadium by texting his staff and DMing them on the iPads they all have in front of them, which is just insane to me.
He was probably sitting in the training facility with 4 monitors and 10 camera angles.
Yeah, you're right. He's
probably had a better view than
he's
usual.
Probably just sitting across
walkie-talkie in hand.
Yeah, he's probably just sitting across the street. I completely forgot about that. That's a really good point. That's God, I hate how much of a good point that is. But it seems insane to me. I know this isn't a big thing tonight, but for me, it's just, why suspend coaches for yellow card accumulation if the suspension and the punishment is essentially a slap on the wrist that means almost nothing? I don't really get what the decision there is from the MLS on that point.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Rock is still viciously scrolling for this funny clip, and at this point I am dying to know what it is you're looking for.
You guys don't understand. Here it is. I was able to finally find it. Any other thoughts from this game as I get this video downloaded, Will?
Yeah, I just want to quickly shout out Tomas Ustrak again, because that was his longest shift of the season, and it was a great shift. We've seen back-to-back matches now where Ustrak has been kind of the focal point of progression, because the back 3, without Nielsen, without Kessler, Baumgartel can only do so much. Hebert and Yarrow aren't so great on the ball, so they're struggling to step up into the midfield and progress the ball with progressive passes and cutting lines with their own dribbling, as Melberg wants them to do. And since they're struggling to do that, they're relying on Ustrak to kind of sit in, collect the ball, and just kind of run it the opposing midfield. And he's been amazing at doing that, to be quite honest with you. He's very creative and was the complete quarterback of every attacking sequence for the most part.
I want to tell everybody about our sponsors. Of course, DraftKings, the crown is yours. Check them out right now. The DraftKings Pick 6 app, promo code STL Sports. Type it in right now. Go to the Pick 6 app and start putting in your play. A lot of different things to do. Cardinals was an interesting play today with the doubleheader, so you can get Cardinals plays going tomorrow and into this week, because it is baseball season and it's officially time to hit the plate with DraftKings Pick 6. Think of DraftKings Pick 6 as your fastball right down the middle. It's the easiest way to play for cash and take a big shot at a win. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers. You get $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, again, DraftKings Pick 6, promo code STL Sports. Check it out. And here's what I wanted to play for everyone. This is Olaf Melberg in a training session with his team's star, with one of his team's stars. Here's Olaf Melberg getting the ball. That's Olaf Melberg in the yellow jersey. This is Olaf Melberg in the yellow jersey. This player right here is one of his team's stars who gets the ball right here. This is one of his team stars. Olaf Melberg comes in with the slide tackle in the yellow jersey. That's how. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to say that it's happening.
This is why we're getting injuries in training. Wait a minute, it all makes sense.
That's how Olaf trains. Just gonna point it out.
It changes everything radically.
It does. We got to get out of here before we do that. I want to tell everyone about Hot Shots 35th anniversary party coming up on Sunday, June 1st, starting at 12 p.m. They got everything going out there. They got a taco eating contest, picks with the Budweiser Clydesdales, Rizzuto and Rafe, our old friends from 105.7 The Point, and of course, celeb bartenders. You're a big STL City fan. You can meet STL City players right now on June 1st. Come out to Hot Shots 35th anniversary party. We'll be out there the morning show. Me, Brooke, and Randy Carricker. Join us. It's going to be a great time. Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill, all the games, all the time, a proud sponsor of all post-game shows right here on Sports Hub STL. That wraps up our Sports Hub STL City Hub post-game. Thank you so much for joining us on this midweek episode. You can tune in tomorrow morning. We will be posting this as a podcast, and also you can tune in this weekend. We'll be live again for the away match as St. Louis City travels up to Minnesota FC for their first of 2 matches against Minnesota in that week. This has been City Postgame on Sports Hub STL. For Will Bratton, I'm Matthew Rocchio. Have a great night, St. Louis.